Hello and welcome. Today we've got Ian Clark, and today we are going to be discussing how to crack the human code. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview, unless, of course, myself and Ian can choose our words wisely due to the insane censorship that's happening right now. Ian, thank you for joining me, sir. How are you and what have you been up to?
Well, Nicholas, it's good to be back. And I've been up to a lot of great things in the last month. A lot of new information has come in. I'm healthier than ever. In fact, getting healthier on a daily basis now instead of just waiting like a month at a time.
Absolutely. Now, just before we get into this, I remember once I did an interview with you and you was telling us the challenges the health challenges that you had to overcome in your earlier days. Would you like to just give us a small introduction of of what happened and how you managed to overcome those challenges?
Well, what happened to me by the time I was 46 years old, my body was basically shutting down because I didn't know that my body was running my entire life. And everything my body wanted, I did. You know, if I wanted to eat certain food, if I wanted to not get enough sleep, or there was all these different things. But what it accumulated up to was a lifetime up to that point of being toxified, of not managing my body, not knowing how to take care of my body properly. And then I was given about 1,000 days left to live as a result of that. So all of my actions and reactions to my life at that point and how I was approaching the physical life had shortened my end of days right up to about 49 years old. So that was very shocking for me because I thought I was just like everybody else around me. I really wasn't much different. I wasn't into drinking and drugs or smoking or anything like that. But I had this internal growth, which they called a tumor, which of course, you know what they want to call it. And I had what they called heart disease, which was simply plugged arteries and cardiovascular system that was messed up. Plus, it was full of heavy metals. Now, I didn't know about the heavy metals at that time. I discovered that as I did more testing. But all those things combined were going to end my life. And if I would have gone the medical route, which was very tempting, because in Canada, healthcare, so-called sick care, is free. And therefore, there's no cost, right? It's just paid for by the government, which is we're paying for it anyway, one way or another. But I remembered my uncles when they were 51 and 54 years old on my mom's side when I was 20. And both of them passed away right on time at 51 and 54 years old of cancer. One took a year, one took 3 months to die, but they both followed the diagnosis, the treatments, and the prognosis of the doctors, and they died right on time. And here I am at 46 facing very similar things with the terrible prognosis. So what I wanted to do was find out if I could source ways in this world from people who really knew how to handle the body naturally so that I could become a healthy person without all the medical interventions. And why was I in the condition I was in? Because every time I asked doctors why I had what I had, they would just say it's statistics or, you know, guys at your age, this happens often. This is very common, which didn't help me at all. Well, the long story short is I'm 64 in June. I am healthier today than I was when I was 25. And when I was 25, I was a very healthy young man. And I'm healthier today than I was then. Why is that? How did that happen? So what we call it here is, I call it, we learned how to crack the code on how to take over the body's management system. So the body's not managing the show anymore, but me, the soul, with my knowledge and wisdom and learning, have learned how to bring the body under subjection to the right things to do. So what was happening then, Nicholas, is that my body was controlling my mind. I didn't understand that. I sort of thought my body was me. You know, people will say, oh, I have cancer or I have heart disease. Like, that's ridiculous because you, the soul, you can't get cancer and you can't get heart disease, but your body can. Mm-hmm. And if you mistake your body for yourself, then you let your body run the show. And that's what was happening to me.
Wow.
So slowly but surely, I started to learn, oh, there's different tools you can use. There's different things you can do to help the body, to support the body, to detoxify, to get better nutrition, to get better connection, to better communication. And I had to teach my body that it was no longer the boss. It's like, body, if you're craving something, that's probably an addiction. Now, sometimes when you crave things, you might have a deficiency. But the way you tell is if you stop doing that thing and then the cravings go away after a few weeks, that's an addiction. If you feel worse after your body's craving something you don't do, then that's a deficiency. So I learned all those things, and it was all simplified. Because can you imagine 15 years now of just having our company alone, which is producing and developing the highest level, most efficacious products you can possibly put into your body, let alone the 18 years of actual journey from when I hit the wall with my health to today, where I have the healthiest 64-year-old body on earth. What happened during that time? It was literally millions of dollars invested, which now would not cost anywhere close to that now that I know what I know. But in order to get rid of all the misinformation and bring in all the true information, get rid of all the unnecessary consumption things, and bring in only the things that make the body work at the highest level, that took millions of dollars and 18 years of research. And now 15 years of development within our little company that produces these totally quality controlled, completely high-end, but very affordable nutrients and detoxification agents. So the longer time went on, I finally gained control of my body completely. And the way that I had to do it was get control of my mind. I found out my body was controlling my mind in areas that were unruly. My body would want sugar. It would want, all these starches and weird things. It would be craving stuff it should never have. And everybody's running around condemning sugar. Oh, sugar is bad and salt is bad. All that is misinformation. Mm-hmm. Sugar is not bad. There's nothing wrong with sugar. Your body runs on glucose. But anything more than 5 grams of sugar a day, your body doesn't want. Unless you're riding a bike marathon 150 miles a day, you can eat more sugar, right? Because you're burning everything. But I'm talking about a normal day-to-day lifestyle. Your body wants around 5 grams of sugar. It needs it. And it's in the food. You don't need to have carbs and extra sugars. And then I learned that the most important thing to control is insulin. Insulin is this thing that people hear about. They relate it to diabetes, they relate it to pancreatic function, but they never relate it to poison. Insulin, more than what you need, is pure poison to your system. Because insulin's job is to get sugar into the cell. But as soon as your cells have enough sugar, your body's going like, why do you keep putting sugar in? I got enough. And then your pancreas has to keep trying to produce insulin to keep up with the sugar overload. But then it can't get the sugar into the cell, and then it's called insulin resistance. So do you know where men's prostate problems come from? Women's ovary and reproductive organs comes from insulin. Too much insulin freely floating around the body, not having anything to do, and it wreaks havoc within the system. Absolutely. When I totally controlled my sugar intake to the right amount, all of a sudden everything just smoothed out completely.
So we're human beings, and we are beings with a soul. So we have a spiritual side and we have the human side. And in our human side, we have cravings, we have bad habits, we have an ego, we have, we get angry. And then we have the soul, which is pure spiritual. We have empathy, we have love, we have real power of manifestation. How do we get or train our soul to control our human body so that we can heal itself and learn the good habits so that we can preserve the human body?
Right. No, that's the biggest key of all. That's the riches, the true riches of life, is to have the wisdom, the inputs. You've got to get the inputs of reality information that really works. And you have to feed your mind with the inputs, and you have to tell your body. I would send memos to my body. By the way, body, we're going to be eating food between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. every single day. Now, between 3 p.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning, we're just not going to be having any food. We can drink lots of fluids and enjoy things, but we're not going to have any food. So you've got a 6-hour window to eat food. And during that 6-hour window, you're going to eat the very best foods imaginable that are going to give you the full manner of nutrition. And the body's like, no. What are you talking about? I eat whenever I want, whatever I want, however I want. You're not going to tell me what to do. And if you try to tell me what to do, I'll give you a headache. I'll give you a craving, like my stomach was like a wolf trying to consume me from the inside out. Like, okay. I would listen to my body my whole life until I realized my body was being self-destructive because it did have bad habits. It did have toxins. It did have all this stuff that was controlling my mind. It was putting the inputs into my mind. And I had to overwrite those inputs and say, hold it now. I know better. I know what you need, body. I've learned. I need to have amino acids, essential fatty acids. I've got to have pigments and vitamins, and I got to have materials that I could do DNA repair with. I have to have hydration. I've got to have all these different elements coming in that make me more intelligent in the physical world, but also so for some reason, my computer, you have to edit this up a little bit. My computer is glitchy for some reason on the internet.
That's okay.
Have I been stalling it all, Nicholas?
No. It was just those 2 seconds, but you'll find
Okay, yeah. Well, it might do it again, but I'll stop when it does because I can see it on the screen.
Sure.
We'll edit that out. So the inputs that are going into your mind have to be based on reality. And they have to be based on research of intelligent data that then allows the mind to control the body rather than the body to control the mind. So it's a battle. And I won that battle 100% because I learned how that battle worked. And it took years and years and years to come to that point. And now I can share information with people where they can very quickly know how this system works, gain control of the mind, and therefore the mind controls the body. So whoever controls your mind controls your body. You are the one responsible. If you're living in a body that's going to fail, and I'm going to be removed off the earth at 49 years old at that time, I had about 3 years left to go, I lose my interface. Oh, wow. A lot of people that happens to. 164,000 people die every day. So we simply want to be at the highest functionality with the clearest brain power, the most intelligence, the most wisdom, and the ability to interact with our bodies and manage them so we have the best possible quality of life. Everything comes down to quality of life. And you are responsible for that quality of life. For you, I'm responsible for me. So my job was to find out how this all worked and to go through all these iterative processes over 18 years, which cost millions of dollars, to then define it down to a simple, easy to do for everyone protocol and set of nutrients. And because that's what it really was all about, simplifying. You can't multiply something until you've simplified it. So the simplicity came down to finding out that, oh, my body needs to get this out of it for detox. It needs to have this nutrient to build up. I took iodine, and all of a sudden, all my systems came on communication-wise like I'd never experienced before. I took Solaris, and my heavy metal overloads go away. And we're always breathing in all the time, right? We breathe in all kinds of toxic stuff, from rubber dust to who knows what they're burning for thermal electricity with mercury and cadmium, lead, all that kind of thing. So we need to always be gently detoxing ourselves. But I had to do massive detox because I was super overloaded because I'd never detoxed in my life up to that point. So getting all the interrupters out of your body and then making sure that all the healthy fats, the saturated fats, the things that go in are structural in the brain, and then the fuel for the brain and the fuel for the digestive system and your nervous system, spraying ease magnesium into my skin every day, morning and night, and having that then go in and be reserved, building up your bank account, because your body is your bank account, and it holds these elements and these nutrients in reserve so that when you need them, and then you go into deeper brain power, you're using a lot of bandwidth, you've got the reserves, because otherwise you can be depleted very quickly. I was depleted in so many areas And I didn't know because I was down. You know how you gradually go down?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know it till you come back up again. Once I had repleted and filled up my bank account inside my body again, everything came back online like I'd never been so intelligent, never been so sharp and alert and aware and cognitive and physical being. All my joints smoothed out. My body systems worked beautifully. And yeah, I'm turning 64 in June. So what has that got to do with it? Everything, because the longer I've been alive, the better I became, the wiser, the more intelligent, and then the more I can share correct information. In other words, if I were to go back to my 46-year-old self right now, 18 years ago, I would tell myself exactly what to do. It would take about 6 months, and I would be in a super condition in 6 months rather than all those years and millions of dollars. That's the beauty of this. So now we can reverse share this back out again, the definitive information, exactly how you do things to bring your body back online. And you just need tiny amounts of concentrated material, whether it's a therapeutic oil or a special magnesium element or iodine or a detoxification thing, tiny amounts. And your body responds extremely well to that. So it's extremely affordable. Mm-hmm. And when you think about your value proposition in your life, how valuable is it to you, Nicholas, when you are calibrated, tuned in, synchronized, dialed in, whatever you want to call it, absolutely, versus when you're not?
Well, when we it's the same as when we become aware. As we become aware and we learn information, for the most of us and the viewers now, we're more aware than ever as to what's happening around the world. And we know that for a fact that 10, 15, 20 years ago, we didn't have the same awareness as we have today with what we're learning in the world today. So it's probably the same with what you're talking about in respect to your health and how you identify how you've excelled in your health in a positive way.
Right. Well, it's all about living as long as possible with the highest quality of life. So if you live an extra 10 years past the normal range or whatever that normal is, whatever normal is, doesn't exist. But they say 77 years old for a male right now in North America. So if I live till 97, I've got 20 years of extreme value, because today, Nicholas, you're the most valuable you've ever been in your life today. Me today as well. And tomorrow we're going to become more valuable. So we're talking about that value to you, whoever you're impacting in your life, your loved ones, your peers, your colleagues, your friends, your family, everyone you connect with online. All those people are counting on your increased value, your increased knowledge to share it out, because that's your calling. That's your position in this earth. It's also my position in the health space. So once I realized that, it's like, hey, this isn't just for me. This is for every possible human being who can hear this from every age, from young till old, and it's never too late. And every single disease or a chronic problem or pain or acute or whatever you call it, they can all be dealt with by going back and resetting the foundation, learning how to manage your mind to control your body, and your body responds so well. I had a biological age of like 84 years old when I was 46, and then I was going to die. Now I'm 64 with a biological measured age of around 25 years old. So that is very serious business. And we should all be aging 25-year-olds. I look like I'm in my 60s. Yeah, that's great. I want to look like a super healthy 64-year-old. I don't want to look like a 25-year-old. 25-year-olds should look like a 25-year-old. And besides, you can't hide your experience and wisdom anyway. And these are all things that came to me by researching the top people in the world. Because if you told me to go out and do this on my own, I could never. You have to have 20 lifetimes to figure this out. All I did was tap into the people who are at the very top level of each category and say, I am an open book. I really don't know. And I don't think I know either. And I want to know. And the more I learned, the more I realized I didn't know, just like you're going through that process now with the awareness of how the world works. You know, what are politics? What is banking? What is this place we live in? And you're the governor, and I'm the governor. And the men and women are governors and governesses of their universe. Mm-hmm. And your universe is dynamically affected by how well you are physically, because that's the house you're cruising around in, right? Your beautiful luxury vehicle that you're traveling in has to be maintained at the highest levels, just like a car, only far more sophisticated and far more important than a car. Because you can replace a car, but you can't replace your body. But you can certainly rejuvenate it. So you can't fake it. I know now where I'm at, and I know all the biological signs, and I want everyone to experience the same thing. And now it's affordable. In fact, Nicholas, most things that I do are free. And the products that we manufacture that I consume, because we totally control them, they are complementary. Because I don't think there's any magic pill. But your body does require specific fuels. I don't want to take in fuel into my system that is causing more aggravation or more inflammation. I want pure, unadulterated, effective, easy to assimilate, totally affordable ways of doing it. When I'm talking about affordability, talking about how much time do you spend in a day to maintain your health? How much energy do you have to expend? How much effort is required, and how much money, which is your resources? You want to have the least amount of expenditure with the maximum amount of return. So that's what activation is all about. From the beginning to the end, that's what it was, because that's what I want for me. That's what I want for everybody else. Therefore, is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Make sure that everything that people are going to be investing in for themselves is going to give them the maximum return on investment. And that's why we've had such great success doing this with our core group. And it's not a mainstream thing. This is not for mainstream people. This is for people who are high performers, who are wanting to have the best possible experience in their life and live the longest possible. And every single day is important. We're not waiting for the day down the road when it's going to be this glorious day. We want today to be the day, right here, right now, every second of our life, because time is like a dot moving on a line and it never stops. We want to make sure that that time is compressed and also being used to the maximum possible. And that's basically how it is. So for you and your group, Nicholas, we have I don't know if everybody knows, but we have that code NIC20, which is a very special thing, because when you go onto Activation's website, if people decide that they want to get something to help with their health in any way, they can go, and we already have very good pricing, and they get an extra 20% on that, which is a very big deal, because we're just trying to keep the cost of everybody down as low as possible in respect of them, because especially in this age, things are getting tighter, inflation's going up, people are paying more for everything. How much is your fuel in the UK now?
God, it's nearly £2, £2 a litre.
Whoa, £2 a liter. So it's like $4 Canadian. So we're $2.50 Canadian for diesel, and that would translate to $9 a gallon in the US.
If I remember rightly, I don't remember the exact figure, but the last time I saw it, it was about nearly £2.
Right. So our thing is to make sure people are the most efficient possible, to cover all their deficiencies, to make sure they don't have any more, and to have all these nutrients that are simple, super concentrated, and easy to do. And I am building right now a whole module of protocol where it doesn't cost you anything to do. And you can do these things and it completely dynamically changes your whole body. And it's rapid fire. You're looking at 60 days to a totally different operating system. And that's a little information product that we're developing currently, and building a little membership site so people can actually log in and find out deeper information that we can't publish publicly, online. So
absolutely. Well, Ian Clark, thank you very much for sharing that with us. And I will gladly leave the link below so that people can have a look to protect their health. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Well, just to remind them again, to make sure you learn yourself how to take control of your mind, to control your body, and look for any signals where your body's trying to control your mind, and just give a memo to the body. No, we don't go down that road anymore. Me, the soul, is the boss. I'm taking over the body. The body is a servant to you. Your body is to serve you, and to serve you very well.
Well, thank you very much, Ian. And we'll speak again very soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.
God bless you, Nicholas.